There we go. Rugby. The Highlanders and the Crusaders, folks. Not far away. Luke is about... Hey, Luke, man. You're about to go to work, poor fella. Workday is done here in NZ. Tom was asking how the garden's going. The garden's been going a wee bit quiet, man. Because, yeah, the floods. The floods here in New Zealand, my house was alright, but my garden kind of got smashed. So, yeah, not good. Is anyone giving the Highlanders a chance for this one? Or are we kind of writing them off? Daramundi, man, how's it going? Let's have a look at the super round crowd. And it's, relatively sparse, isn't it? Tama smells an upset. We will see, buddy. We will see. I can't imagine the Crusaders lose two, but nobody saw the All Blacks losing two in a row at home last year either, did they? Nobody saw Argentina beating us for the first time at home ever, so yeah, anything could happen. Then the Crusaders have a point to prove. Yeah. Although apparently Scott Robertson's not with the team. They mentioned briefly there's some kind of family thing going on with him, so I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. But hopefully he's all good. Ethan Blackadder's there. Andrew Mokaleo's getting ready. They haven't kicked off yet, but I'll let you know. Frankie says Satyrs to bounce back for sure. Yeah, I think I picked the Satyrs by kind of plenty as well. I think I might just move you guys over because that's blocking the chat. I can't see. There we go. I managed that without dropping you. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Crusaders have a point to prove. Yeah, Crusaders going to show last week it was a blip. I mean, they reckon the Highlanders made like 9 changes, so yeah. Allard, mate, you've got to go to work today. Yeah, your old job was much better, bro. Much better. Hope they're paying you more, though, at this one. If you're going to have to work Fridays. Freddie Burns. Yeah, Freddie Burns is getting a start. There was a lot of criticism in NZ about signing Freddie Burns. Like, why aren't we signing more, like giving chances to more domestic guys? But I don't know. People don't complain about it if we sign some Fijian or Tongan guy. But if it's an English guy, people suddenly have a problem with it. It was a bit weird. Wearing Satyrs colours, but couldn't bring yourself to wear an actual Satyrs jersey, says Junaid. I like the logic. It's just these MLR jerseys, apart from the fact that I don't get a chance to use them that much. Most of them are like 3XL, and the fabric's really nice, and it's kind of muggy. So this is like me just being comfortable. What can I say? Blake, man, how's it going? Alex says, I literally work earlier and on Fridays. Oh, man. Well, if it's getting your career advanced, what can I say? Where's the Warriors live stream? This is the Warriors live stream, man. Come on. You know. Simon, man, good evening. We are 1 minute and 50 seconds in for anybody who's not keeping up with the game actually in person. Because they can't make him an All Black. Fiji guys, we still can. That's kind of a sad way to look at it, isn't it? Jack McHugh, man, how's it going? If anyone wants Super Brew picks, follow Jack. He's got them good. Love to see the Landers win, but I bet it's Crusaders by 20. It's a weird one being at a neutral venue. Like, this is usually a pretty decent rivalry between these two teams, but Yeah, they're in Melbourne, so it's just kind of an old one. No distracted sports causing trouble today. Well, I figured the last stream I did was with Tony. The previous one I did was with Gaza, so I'm kind of due for one solo. Otherwise, I'll forget how to do them. I'll rejoin the stream when I'm on the bus. What's Maori for goodbye? Isn't it like kakite? I'm not the guy to ask about it. If you're asking Chinese, I'm your man. 6 o'clock in the evening in Melbourne. That's true, Simon. Yeah. I mean, I noticed they pushed this game back. Like, if this game was on in New Zealand, it would have started an hour earlier. It starts at 7:05. It starts at 8 today, so they're obviously giving people in Melbourne a chance to finish work. But I mean, to be honest, most of them are probably off having a feed if they're going to go to the game. Nice to see both teams in home gear. Junaid, man, you and me are on the same page. I am a bit of a stickler, and I know that they got to market the away jerseys, but honestly, if there's no clash, we don't need to play the away jerseys. It's weird when it was weird but fun when I went last year. I'm going on Sunday. Oh, good man, Blake. Yeah, with it being a neutral venue, I guess it is kind of weird. I still find Melbourne kind of an odd choice, other than the fact that there's expat Kiwis there. But there's expat Kiwis in bloody Brisbane as well, right? I don't know. Tony would boost the dick jokes. That's true. Oh, early penalty for the Highlanders at scrum time. There we go. Yes, that's it, Mark. There's a few different ways. Yeah, honestly, it's one of my regrets that I didn't take really any kind of Māori classes when I was in school. They taught us a little bit at intermediate, but only as like, I don't know, a chore. And then when we were in first year of high school, you had to pick a language. My school did Chinese, French, and Māori. And guess which one I chose? Tama's not a good Hugh fan. He's been out for so long. We'll see how he goes. Would any place in New Zealand make sense, Junaid? Man, honestly, I think if you wanted to have the superest of super rounds, you put it in Fiji. That's the only place you're guaranteed to get a great crowd. And to be honest, like Frankie says, the Waratahs, I think, they've had fans out in attendance. But like Simon said, for 6 o'clock on a Friday, I mean, the attendance is not terrible. The home team's not playing. There's a decent amount of people there, but it doesn't look great. Oh, by the way, I took French when I was in high school. French. Guessing Victorian state government was paid more for this event than the Queensland government. That might make sense. Yeah, there's probably stuff in the background. Gisborne Intermediate took Māori time. I said they only did Māori for us at school an intermediate level for like a couple of classes. It wasn't like a concerted week by week effort. It was kind of like, I don't know, just a kind of couple of flash in the pan classes from what I remember. Watching the Warriors game gives me a very puckered bumhole. That's a great mental image. Tones? Lydia said nobody calls you Tones, so I'm going to be the guy that starts calling you Tones. Māori should be core curriculum so we all learn it. My nana was in a generation that got beaten for speaking it. Yeah, that's shocking. That's a bad part of our history. Man, another Highlanders penalty. Take the 3. Give that ball to Freddie. Freddie to put the Landers 3-0 up, I reckon. Well, it's interesting, April, that a lot of jobs now are actually listing like Māori as one of the requirements for the role. So people who haven't learned it are going to be potentially at a disadvantage. So if people are going to learn it, you might as well learn it young. Like, don't give yourself that kind of disadvantage. Like one of my mates at the uni, Indian guy, like Indian guy married a Fiji Indian girl. He's a Christian. She's a Muslim. They speak Hindi. She speaks Fiji Hindi and Hindi. Like they're all over the place with their languages and cultural mixes and stuff. But yeah, she's been taking Māori, their eldest daughter, since she was in like primary school. Like, she speaks really well. She's in like the Kapahaka group and everything. So yeah, she's going to be putting herself. Oh, Freddie Burns ain't kicking. Okay, fair enough. Sam Gilbert's kicking. All right, whatever. But yeah, she's putting herself at a real advantage going forward. The Highlanders have the lead. This actually shouldn't be like this. It's supposed to be like that. Oh, no. Because the Highlanders are the away team. Don't think New Zealand time zones would work for the Super Round. Oh, that's actually a good point, Simon. You'd have to play them pretty late, eh? Yeah, it's true. Tony loves his baloney, says Stefano. True words have never been spoken. I love you, Distracted Sports Buddy, but every single comment of yours gets flagged and needs mod approval. Is that a thing? I don't see that on my end. Do you have to approve Tony's comments? Wow, sorry, that's hard work for you, bud. You can learn Māori for free now, Mark. The Otaki School. Is that online or is that like an actual face-to-face class? You know, I've had a wee look into just like the basic structures and whatnot of Māori. And the grammar gives me eerie vibes of like Japanese, which is scary because I took 1 year of Japanese. I did a bit of German, I did some French. Like, I was really into my languages as a younger man. But the Japanese grammar made my head explode. And the Māori grammar gives me the same vibes, which is kind of scary. Online. Okay, well, that's awesome. I've been trying to brush up on my Chinese because I'm going back to China at the end of this month. I haven't been there for 5 years. My Chinese has kind of gone to pot. In New Zealand, Wellington, Auckland are the only places they'd consider for Super Round. I mean, maybe, eh? Oh, another penalty for the Highlanders. Jeez, this is unexpected. What's going on, folks? Moody and Taylor don't look too pleased. Golanders never been there, unlike Christchurch, but it's not the Crusaders. Blake, I've been down to Dunedin. I watched a game down there years ago at that new stadium of theirs. It was pretty awesome. Blues lost down there, of course, but that was pre the channel. But that was really nice. Cheese rolls are the shit, man. Have you tried cheese rolls? Excuse my language, but cheese rolls. Oh my god, cheese rolls sounds like the stupidest food imaginable. Like, okay, it's cheese and a roll. Like, whoop-de-bloody-do. But honestly, cheese rolls. Mwah. Go to get some cheese rolls down in Southland and Dunedin. And yes, Jeanette, I don't know what's going on with the Crusader scrum either. It's a weird one. Cameron, bro, we're going good. It's a bit muggy, but I got a cold beer. I got a bunch of you people in the chat. And watching some rugby, so life is good. Life is good. Can't complain. Learned French and Latin. Māori is so much easier. Ruby's learned Spanish, Mandarin, Latin, French. He thinks Māori is really easy compared to them. Is that right? Okay. I honestly only had a really cursory look at it. Just the grammar seemed scary. Like, I'm fine with pronunciation. Obviously spelling, seeing as they use like Latin or Latin alphabet, Roman alphabet, like that's fine compared to bloody Chinese. But the grammar is the scary one. The grammar is the nuts and bolts, eh? All right, here come the Crusaders. That's ominous. Morning from Ireland, working from home, coffee in hand, rugby on the TV. Pete, mate, you are likewise living the dream. Oh, this is try time. Good try. Bit of power from the Crusaders. They haven't looked like doing nothing all game. First chance down that end, they score points. That's that's very Crusader-like, isn't it? Oh, man. I live in Victoria, less than 2 hours from Melbourne. Did contemplate going tonight to support the Canes, but too buggered after work. Tama, yeah, man, I don't blame you for that one, eh? 2 hours is a fair trek. Is that Dommel? Says native Irish speaker, even though there are massive job opportunities with having gold Irish, you don't see many people raising their kids with it. Yeah, I think that's a more recent development here in NZA. The fact that a lot of, especially government jobs, require at least some command of the Māori language. 7 points to 3. Crusaders doing what the Crusaders do. Who's after the Warriors updates? Just Tony? You can't even watch 2 screens now on Sky Sports. You know that, Tony? If you're on the laptop, you used to be able to put like 2 browsers. Like if you got 2 screens. But now it used to be if you had your computer running and your TV running, it would go, hey, slap on a hand. You can't run 2 devices at the same time. Now it even picks up on 2 browser windows at the same time. Like I used to sometimes double watch games. But you can't do that anymore. I've only heard 2 cents on So Passionate talking about props and sumos. Now these cheese rolls. Bro, have you had a cheese roll? Goodness me, sumo wrestlers would freaking love a cheese roll. Sevu Center, yeah. Power, eh? Sevu Reese is deceptively strong for his size. I'll give him that. Queenstown's Highlanders territory, been there, haven't been to Dunedin. Oh, yeah, fair enough. No, I've been to both. I went to Dunedin before I went to Queenstown. Queenstown's a bit more touristy, though. Wales is a great example of revival native language. They have 250,000 who speak Welsh. Now, it's interesting, April Tui, that they reckon... Like, as far as, like, the rugby side goes, you know how, like, the WRU seems to be an absolute shit show compared to the Irish Rugby Union? It's apparently, I don't know, this is just me reading stuff about it, it's the flip with Irish and Welsh languages. Supposedly, they kind of force you to learn Irish in school and to make it kind of a miserable thing. Oh, that's so close to going dead, but it didn't go dead. Bloody hell. From the Crusaders. Geez, they're lucky. Or just perfect execution, whichever way you want to look at it. But, yeah, they reckon the way the Welsh do it just kind of really integrates it, so it works a lot better. But then again, I've got no first-hand comment to make on that other than what I've just read. But yeah, Gilbert did all right, Tama, given how deep he was in his end goal. There you go. Now I need to find somewhere I can watch sumo wrestling. Daramundi, interestingly, after my little sumo rant on the podcast the other day, the guy on this channel who got me into the sumo, his username is Sumo Rugby. So guess which 2 sports he likes. I'll tell Tony about him. He sent me a message saying he'd watched the podcast and heard me talking about the sumo, but he said that all the channels that used to have the sumo on YouTube in English got copyright strikes. So they're doing, excuse my language because I'm about to swear, they're doing the same fucking thing that the rugby bigwigs do. So it used to be that NHK, who's the Japanese broadcaster, used to just kind of look the other way because their core audience is Japanese viewers who can watch it already in Japan on NHK for free. But these guys would like screen record the sumo matches from NHK because they're usually in Japan, and then they would put them on YouTube either with their own commentary over top or some analysis or just with the Japanese commentary. They would put it up on YouTube and they never got copyright struck for years. One guy had like 6,000 sumo bouts on there, and just recently bam, they all got copyright struck. All their channels got deleted. Like, honestly, sumo is like the niche of niche sports. Even rugby looks at sumo and goes, "Bro, you're pretty niche." And but there was like a real like cult little niche following about it. But I don't know how people are supposed to watch it now. So, like, I would watch it if it's on YouTube. Like, I'm a very casual fan. I'll watch it if it pops up in my suggested videos, but I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. So they've kind of lost me, which is dumb. Anyway, sorry about my rant. But like Gaelic in Scotland, it's a dead language only really taught in private schools. Oh, that's a thing, I guess, Jack, man. They teach Latin over here, like April Tui said, but mostly just for something to do. My cousin used to be annoyed about the Irish language being taught in textbook form instead of conversational. Right, that might be what they're talking about, Simon. About how it's not practical, it's not enjoyable. Like, it's like, from what they said and what I've read, the way they teach Irish in Ireland is, like I said, kind of miserable, but that may be it. Old man Willie Boy sat up in bed with my mug of Earl Grey, very curious about the constituent parts of a cheese roll. What is a cheese roll made up of? I think it's basically just like a pastry roll with cheese in it, but they usually do some like onions and sauce and stuff. Honestly, the name doesn't do it justice. They're bloody good. Showing up and the first thing I hear is a sumo rant. Sorry, Star Leo. The Crusaders are getting pinged by the ref, man. The Crusaders scrum. That's 6 penalties to none. We're only 19 minutes in. Jeez Louise. Crusader scrum's getting smashed. I would love to learn Irish. Well, it's cool that they have that TG4 channel, which has got heaps of Irish language content, which is cool. They've got S4C in Wales. I'm not sure what the 4 is for. They both have a 4. Why wouldn't you want people to be watching it? But anyway, broadcasters doing stupid things. That's pretty much it, Daramundi. Like the amount of people watching sumo on YouTube was pretty small. So I don't think they were like losing out on their free-to-air broadcast anyway. But people who are outside Japan, I don't think can just jump onto NHK easily. So I don't get the point of it. But anyway. Is this a football stadium, Junaid? It's Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. I know the Storm play here. I'm not sure if any of the Melbourne AM... What is that competition called? The Australian soccer? What's it called? Phoenix play in the... Whatever that competition is. Sign language should be taught everywhere. Deaf people would be. Ruby taught herself for YouTube. Yeah, that's one that never really gets brought up here, eh? Basic sign language would be useful, but sign language is another one of those ones that's not universal. Like, each country does it a bit different. If the Warriors win, I will give you 10 cents per like. I can't match Junaid. If the Warriors win, what are the odds the Warriors are going to win, though? Whoa, the hands from the Highlanders. Oh, my goodness. That's beautiful. Quick offloads, behind the back passes. Oh, bit of drop ball. Just listening to streams and podcasts, I could be watching a bit. Also, they could do official channel like World Rugby does streams, some tier 2 teams like ranked internationals. Yeah, I would have thought sumo. I don't know how we're still talking about sumo. I don't mean to go on about sumo, but like, I can't imagine sumo is one that a lot of people are like pirating, right? I don't think there's like a big market for it outside of Japan. Like, are they concerned Japanese people are watching the bouts in English on YouTube instead of like the free broadcast they get in Japan? I don't know. Maybe it's just like, hey, it's our shit. You can't use it. That would probably not surprise me. Uh-oh. Here come the Crusaders. Oh, Gilbert's hurt himself. Gilbert's hurt his shoulder. He might have dislocated shoulder. Doesn't look good. It's home ground to for all three Melbourne A-League teams. Bloody hell. Okay, that stadium gets some usage then. Language is best learnt conversationally. I did French at school. I failed miserably but became fluent in Spanish French after spending time there and Italian from working and hanging out with them. Oh man, Willie boy, you are a man after my own heart. Like, I studied Chinese for several years, and my Chinese when I got to China was shocking. I learned more in 6 months there than I did in 3 years of freaking grammar and stuff. I mean, admittedly, I got all the foundational stuff there, the grammar and the rules and whatnot, and learned to write and read, which is probably one you can't get conversationally in China. Like, the characters are a whole different beast, but yeah, man, I learned way more by just hanging out with people, mimicking what they do. Junaid's asking about the lineup, so I'll just bring it up, bro, because I'm not actually sure. 2CGD fans. Jake, good man. Oh, Braden Inor is on for Jack Goodhue. Oh, seriously? I missed that. Did Jack Goodhue's return only last 10 minutes? Gaza is going to send something through at halftime, Junaid, mate, so stick around for that. I went to the Foo Fighters in that stadium back in 2013. Goodness gracious me, you've been over there a while, Tama. I wrote a hate comment for you just so you get excited over the notification. It gets sent to the old, what's it called? Like, held comments box. Sumo used to be on Channel 4 UK when it first aired back in the late 80s. It was very popular. Honestly, like, sumo is like the cheese rolls that I'm talking about. Sumo seems dumb because it's these really fat guys showing their butts trying to push each other out of a ring. But part of the reason these guys are so fat is because you can't get a good grip on them and you can't push them out of the ring. There's no weight classes. And there's honestly several different kind of... It's like the UFC with grapplers and strikers. Like, there's belt wrestlers and there's like pusher thrusters and there's the guys who can kind of flip you with like judo style, like trips and whatnot. Like, yeah, there's some pretty crazy shit that goes on in sumo. It's genuinely quite fun to watch. What can I say? God, I'm going on about a lot of sumo. Oh, the Crusaders scrum now. Bloody hell, they got it right that time. You're going back to China, but you need to come to the UK for the first time at some point. I know, Jake. I know. I desperately need to. Crusaders are going to take the 3. I need to wait till my kids get a bit older so I don't have to bring my children on holiday. Yep. What can I say? Traveling with children is not easy. This is the cheese rolls stream. Bro, if you've had cheese rolls down in Southland or whatever, you know what I mean. Watch a game at Twickenham or something. Jake, man, yeah, for sure. I'd love to get out to South Africa. My son's primary school teacher, we had a parent-teacher catch-up yesterday. And she said she's going to South Africa in October. And I was about to say, like, are you going to go catch some rugby? But she said she's going on safari. And I was like, oh yeah. I mean, safaris are well and good. Animals are cool, but there's a bunch of good rugby grounds over there. You can go to. Go to Loftus, man. Go to Ellis Park. Cheese rolls sound very like Bridie's in Scotland. They may have that origin, man, but they're bloody good. Seen some highlights on NHK, and I would probably like it. Blake, it's like anything, eh? Once you get into the sports and you know, like, oh, this guy is really good, but he never beats this type of fighter, or like this guy's really light, but if he can kind of get these big guys in an awkward position, he can trip them over, or like this guy's just a big, fat, like he's got 30 seconds, not even that, 15 seconds to try and push you out, and then he's gassed. Like, yeah, there's heaps of storylines. They go pretty well. Oh, did Harmon force that? Highlanders looking a bit sixes and sevens here. As Janae said earlier, if you guys are still sticking with the cheese roll, sumo, and wee bit of rugby chat, do feel free to like the stream. It does help us out. Been here since 2004, Tama. Goodness me, man. That's ages. I went to China for the first time in 2005, so you and me must be kind of similar age, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah. Ooh. Oh, I think he's just forced it. Lucky. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Mantis, man, how's it going? Yeah, the Crusaders started pretty slow, but they're looking a little bit more clinical of the two sides. Yeah, I think the Highlanders just got away with that one. Which current rugby player would be best at sumo? I mean, Taukei'aho, probably. I mean, the guys who are not that tall tend to do better, but it's one of those ones where there are exceptions. There are some pretty tall, like, European guys, like Bulgarians and stuff, who they just try to grab the belt and pick guys up and pull them out the ring. So, yeah, but Taukei'aho's got the power and the build for it, I reckon. If the Crusaders and Blues lose this week, you're going to be drinking. I reckon the Crusaders have got this one. Nice and sleazy, mate. How's it going? From Wales. Hopefully your boys are doing some good prep in their week off, man. Would Aaron Smith have made any difference? I mean, yeah, Aaron Smith is going to be beneficial to whatever side he plays for, but I mean, the Highlanders aren't doing too bad so far, but you feel like it's only a matter of time with the Crusaders here. They are hot on attack again. Pastry parcels filled with meat and gravy and cheese and onion. The sumo guys, I remember, had monikers like the dump truck or the sea slug. Oh yeah, man, all kinds of names, eh? And there's a real mixed bag. There wasn't any Americans there when I was watching it, but there was a few Eastern European guys. A lot of Mongolians. Mongolians just seem to love wrestling. And then the Japanese guys as well. One of the Highlanders guys has just gone down clutching his head. Oxen Che. Oh, yeah, he's another one, actually. Where's Tones? Oh, he's in the chat. He's in the chat. He's watching the Warriors game. Which rugby player would be cheeky enough to do the dodge move in sumo? I mean, any of the halfbacks. Any of the halfbacks, I think, would be fleet-footed enough for that. Maybe Cheslin Colby. He's got pretty fleet feet. Random chat from Cheese Rolls to Sumo. We got it all going on. We're almost half an hour into this game, so Yeah, like Junaid says, 7 penalties to 1. The Crusaders, despite getting hammered at the initial scrums, and was that a finger to the eye? Jesus. Yeah. Anyway, the Crusaders are still ahead, so it don't really matter, I guess. The Super Rugby logo that isn't in the centre is hurting. I know, a little bit of the old OCD. Why isn't it in the middle? Why is it to the side? Ooh, it's a good kick from Freddie Burns. Bunty scores and the chat goes effing mental. Who's Bunty? That's a league thing. Mark the Guru. So you know why the hell Monty Yuan is playing for the Rebels, not kicking butt in the Six Nations? Supposedly, I think he just got a bit homesick, man. From what I heard. Yeah, he just wanted to go back to Australia. So I guess that makes sense. It kind of sucks because he's a real weapon. But yeah. Bunty Afoa. I can honestly say, if I saw him on the street, I wouldn't know who he is. Sad but true. Opinion of Freddie Burns so far, he's going alright. Uh-oh, here's trouble. As soon as I said that, Moonga's just done him all ends up. Oh, but he's come back to make the tackle. But the Crusaders' hands, they're going to score. Well, Freddie Burns' kick maybe kind of stuffed that one up. Sorry, Freddie. My ex-mother-in-law would have made a top sumo exponent. It took 8 big blokes just to lift her coffin onto the trolley. One of them needed to see the chiropractor after. Goodness gracious me. That's a good try, though. The Crusaders are deadly, eh? One kick, gets a hand to it, and then Burns just got stepped by Mwonga. I mean, he came back to make the tackle, but the initial break was made, so yeah, this is looking a bit messy. Tony's sending me a text message of Bunty Afoa. He's got some decent hair on him. Look at that. Don't think that shows your phone number there, Tony. Moonga remembered his Rishi Moonga. He did, didn't he? Yeah. Burns will have to be careful with those little dinks. How long is Will Jordan out for? He's got something with his ear, eh? He just doesn't seem to be able to get it to come right. So, yeah. Oh yeah, who was it that mentioned about the? Oh, it's Blake about the super. They wanted to have the Super Rugby logo next to the Super Rugby round. You're right. It should have been Super Rugby logo in the middle, and then Super Rugby Super Round below it. Because side by side doesn't look good. Goodhughes twinged his groin. Okay. As soon as Freddie Burns had signed for the Landers, he knew it was going to be a dire season. I guess he wanted to have one crack at Super Rugby before he calls his career quits, because he's like, what, he's been in Japan as well? Oh, no, Gilbert's just knocked it on. 5 meters out from his own line. Oh, that's brutal. Highlanders. What the F is right? Gilbert knocked it on. Indeed. He's a lovely bloke, but a mediocre 10. I'm a lovely bloke as well, and mediocre many things. Highlanders being average says it all, hence why the Matzo team was based in Christchurch, repping the whole South Island and Aupiki, which will eventually merge with Super W next year. Sammy, that's a good point, man. They'll get the players for the women's game as we go, as we get more seasons with professional players, for sure. It's a growing area of the game. Not sure we can say the same about the men's at the moment, but anyway. Oh, the Crusaders have lost it. Chance to really put the lance to the sword there is gone, for now anyway. Will Jordan has a problem with his ear, but back in the day you'd just smash some Vaseline on it and she'll be right. Just needs to shift wings. As a good here is facing Rico. Didn't they say like it's affecting his balance or something, right? That's a long-term ear injury, eh? That'd be a really weird one to get wrong. Cullen Grace, I think he got injured, if I'm not mistaken. Why do the Highlanders struggle so much of the New Zealand teams? Historically, that area of the country has produced kind of the fewest local players. But that's not really a thing anymore because they don't have the catchment areas like they used to. So I think it's just one where, I mean, all the best players want to sign for the Crusaders. And then probably the other team, the Chiefs. Like Damien McKenzie's from Southland, I think. And he didn't end up playing for the Highlanders. He got scouted by the Chiefs. So, yeah. I don't think that many guys like the Highlanders in recent years anyway seems to be a team made up of guys that didn't get a gig elsewhere. They seem to regularly have the fewest number of All Blacks, but yeah, anyway. Highlanders are the Pepsi to the Crusaders Coke. You know, weirdly, I don't have any sales figures, but I feel like in China, Pepsi is bigger than Coke. Which is weird because you would have thought red branding goes more with the Chinese theme. But yeah, like whenever you would see advertising campaigns, the biggest celebrities would be doing the Pepsi ads. Like if I recognize them, they've got to be a pretty A-list Chinese celebrity because the B-list ones I sure as hell don't know. Part inner ear called the labyrinth is responsible for balance. When the labyrinth becomes inflamed, a condition called labyrinthitis occurs, causing vertigo and imbalance. Dr. Google. Have you tried Chat GPT? That shit is addictive. You can ask that thing so many questions. It gets a lot of stuff wrong. You have to be mindful, but yeah, Chat GPT is fun if you haven't tried it. It's very fun. I wonder if there's a Minotaur. Is that the labyrinth? Or am I thinking of something else? If the Crusaders score here, do we call this game? If the Crusaders go up like 22 or whatever it's going to be, 25, 24 points. Yeah, 24. If it's 24-3, is that game? Chat GPT is putting me out of a job as a junior. Oh, I don't know if that's true, eh? It still seems to bugger up a lot of stuff. Which part of China have you been in mostly, Mark? Jake, if I told you 5 years ago, you'd probably never have heard of it. But I spent most of my time in Wuhan prior to COVID. It's a nice place. I'll take some video while I'm there. See if I can show you guys around. I've already talked to Tony about taking some video while I'm in China. Here comes the Crusaders Mall. It's going to go for a try. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. And it's a try. You can see that coming. from pretty much the moment the thing got going. I think that might be game. Podcast ITF for the Six Nations break. You and Tones use ChatGPT. Should go live with the Kiwi lads. We did it. We went on the Kiwi lads for the last stream. Me and Tones took over the Kiwi lads stream for a wee bit. It was good fun. I meant to go back and watch that. It was all a bit of a blur. Looks like it's Moody has been given the try. It's looking like a long way back, isn't it? Yeah. We all held it down well. It was a bit of a random one, Janae, but oh well. You were doing a good job of promoting everybody and stuff, so that was always helpful. He's nailed it. 24 points to 3 at halftime. 3 tries to 0. Yeah. Highlanders don't look like winning this one, folks. Certainly the Crusaders look the more threatening. And the stats will probably confirm that as well. Oh, yeah, they got Sonny Bill interviewing David Harvey, and yeah, Sonny Bill's a pretty big dude. Pretty big dude. A while ago, I used ChatGPT to write an AI article about Jason Holland selecting Owen Franks to play at 10 and Julian Savia in the second row to make fun of Kane's selection. It felt very accurate. Honestly, it's got some pretty cool functions. I made it write some bedtime stories for my kids, where my kids got involved with freaking unicorns and like swords and magic and all kinds of stuff. I asked it some questions about some history stuff. I asked it, explain to me like the basic rules of rugby union, but do it as if you are Homer Simpson. So yeah, he put in a few dolt and other comments there. So yeah, ChatGPT is genuinely pretty fun. Matera Jules, he left the Crusaders after they won Super Rugby last year. I forget where he went. Somewhere in France? Or was it Japan? Maybe it was Japan. Could you give your personal rankings of the main rugby leagues or do a video on it like Super Rugby, UR Premiership and more? That might be an idea. I'm kind of loving the URC at the moment, I got to admit. Like the URC is a competition where there's a great disparity between the top teams and the bottom teams, more so than the Premiership, which seems to have a lot more parity. Premiership results tend to seem to be within, I don't know, a try or two, whereas yeah, the URC results are often more a bit blown out. Like the bottom teams are worse than the worst Premiership teams, but the top teams are maybe not quite at Leinster and Co's level. But anyway, I don't know. I think my dad sent me a halftime report, so let's get this going. I'll grab myself another beer. He reckons he's not going to talk about the refs, so let's see if that's true. Oh, I've got my headphones connected. Let's try that again.
Yeah, well, Nick Murray, the Crusaders are well and truly ahead in this game. I mean, they look a bit rusty, but they've got this Highlanders outfit under a bit of pressure. I mean, the poor Highlanders, I don't know. I think they're like a continuation of last season. Doesn't look like they have the cattle, as the famous Aussie saying goes. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I think you're live streaming this. G'day, Troops, anyway. If this is a live stream, g'day, guys. There's a mania here. Yeah, well, you know, the right team's ahead. I mean, the Crusaders are dominating. I thought they'd win, but I didn't think they'd be 24-3 at half time. But anyway, we've got another half to go yet, so we'll find out where that goes. That's about that.
It's pretty quiet.
Well, but to be perfectly honest, there was a big discussion about the Highlanders during the week on the radio, whether they have enough players for Super Rugby in New Zealand. Well, years ago they brought a whole lot of All Blacks down to the Dunedin Knights, the Highlanders, and they crapped out, and then Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown got them a championship. Actually won one, so yeah, both teams got a few injuries, so shouldn't have too much effect. Jack Goodgie's off. God, I don't know, that poor guy he's just come back and he's injured again. Looks like he's done a groin, so I think they will. Joe Ridley looks in a bit of pain too, but anyway, getting back to the subject of who's going to win, I think the Crusaders will win. By how much, well, I don't know. Depends how the Highlanders play in the second half, whether they can get their game together. Yeah, so that's about that. So
it's different when he's not talking about the ref. I'm genuinely not accustomed to this. The recording's really quiet for some reason, but anyway.
Yeah, well, from what I've seen of the referees, I mean, I told you I wasn't going to give them any stick.
Oh.
In the first 2 rounds, I'm going to keep that promise. But, okay, just looking at what I've seen so far, there's a lot of question marks on the games that I've seen during the week and last weekend. So that's about the best way I can answer that. I mean, do I think there's a great deal of difference from what I've done last year? Well, I'll give you that answer next week. But you can read between the lines how I feel about it. It's not great. Maybe slight improvement. So I'll shut up there and won't say any more. So I hope you're all right, McMurray, with all your subscribers and they're enjoying the game. And where this game goes, well, it's going to go to the Crusade, I'm afraid. And that's about that. So all else, as I say, is keep supporting McMurray.
That's better.
Which is my nickname I've given him. His other one's McMartin, but, I'd use that less, but I've given him a couple of nicknames. But anyway, support Mark and his rugby channel. Subscribe, and, if you get anybody else around the world to follow him, do that, spread the gospel of rugby by the Rugby Bible Gazamania. Sometimes, could be one of my mates who's dead now, Lewis Barnes, could be the Bible with blank pages. Sometimes I couldn't pick my nose, and other times I can, so that's about that. So I really haven't got much more to say, apart from follow the game, support Mark, and, support me, of course, too, the Gazamania, and we'll see you in the soup. Gazamania, Roger Mania, out, bye!
Okay, Gaza, cheers for that. Yeah, good job on controlling yourself for the ref chat, but I think part of the guys and girls have missed your ref chat. Maybe you can bless us with a little bit of that at full time, see how you're feeling. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the Crusaders have pretty much got this one in the bag. We'll see how they go for the rest of the game. But yeah, the guys say hello back and the girls. So yeah, we'll catch you a bit later, Gaza. I love it how he said, I'm not going to talk about it, but it's not very good. Yeah, I don't know what was up with the volume. The fourth one suddenly, blasted away. All right, there is some trivia. Yes, and do like the stream if you haven't done so already, folks. All right, it's a rugby question. Goodness gracious me. Remember, get your guesses in. You might be able to get it before anybody gets it, but recently Junaid has kind of had a lock on some of the answers. How many tries were scored at the 2015 Rugby World Cup? That is trivia question number 1. How many tries were scored at the 2015 Rugby World Cup? I think the All Blacks might have won that one. 152. More than that. Less than that. Less than 400. More than 1. Gaz's least favorite ref is probably one of the Kiwi guys. 279 is bloody close. 185 too low. 300 too high. 153 is too low. 265 is also relatively close, but a little bit higher. Shall I just tell you? 233. What the hell is that sound? Whoa, what the fuck is that? That's some kind of insect. 271. 271 according to that bottle count. Holy shit, how big is that thing? It's like some kind of moth. Bro, what are you doing? 271. Sorry, you're probably about to witness a murder. Oh, jeez, you're going hard for that. What is that? Oh, bloody hell. It's some kind of flying bug. It just keeps flying straight into the light. Like, usually that's a moth thing. But it seems too solid to be. Is that a wasp? Oh. It's still going at the light. Sorry, April Tui, but I don't even know what it is. It's going bananas. If it was a spider, I would have taken it out. Ellen, man, yeah, the Crusaders are on fire. Who's going to replace Lancaster? Yeah, I haven't seen who's kind of speculated with that role. Okay, I've got a second rugby question for you before the second half begins. But yeah, usually I will take bugs outside, but that one was going kind of nuts. There was some huge bug just kept flying at the light. It's probably crawling around on the floor, so just be mindful. I thought something was crawling around on the ceiling because I got to get dunk, 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 dunk. Anyway. Which English Premiership rugby team was at the centre of the Bloodgate scandal? Bloodgate. Oh, I've got one, thank you. You can have one. Do you want me to open it for you? You got it? Nice. My wife's having a beer. Good woman. She's a good woman. Harlequins, distracted noses, Northern Hemisphere rugby. Third trivia. It is Quins. It is Quins. Everyone who said Quins got it right. Anyone who said other things than Quins got it wrong. Right, my wife has just given me her beer bit of trivia. So third trivia. You guys are spoiled for choice. And it's another rugby question. Unbelievable. Right, last one. In 2011, who ended the Bulls' run of 18 consecutive wins at Pretoria? Wow. Which team? Crusaders is incorrect, but good attempt. Stormers, incorrect. Blues, incorrect. Crusaders, nope. Stormers, nope. Crusaders, nope. Chiefs, no. Stormers, no. Sharks, no. Not the Chiefs, not the Canes, not the Reds, not the Brumbies, not the Tars, not the Sharks, not the Canes. The Highlanders, Darramundi, well done, mate. It is the team that is currently getting hiding. Apparently it was the Highlanders. There you go. There you go. Who would have thunk it, eh? Highlanders. That's a pretty good Bulls team back in the day, wasn't it? Am I doing the Tars game? I don't think so, bro. I'm going to go to bed, I think. But one of these days, Tony and I need to get back on and do another live stream. Tomorrow night, I'm not going to do any of the games because I'm taking my son to see the monster trucks. Bit of father-son time. There's monster trucks, which are apparently crap, but they're getting bad reviews, but there's monster trucks. New Zealand doesn't get much in the way of monster trucks, so I'm taking my son to see monster trucks. Right. Oh, it's tomorrow, 8:35. All right, so that'll be my monster truck day. How can a monster truck get bad reviews? Apparently it was boring. They had it in Tauranga. Apparently it was just boring as sin. So, yeah. If you were after the halftime stats, run meters are 282 to 106, so almost 3 times as much for the Crusaders. Possessions pretty much 50-50. The Crusaders have had 60% territory. They've had 5 clean breaks to none. They've had 15 defenders beaten to 6. They've made 8 offloads to none. The only thing they're really bad at, the Crusaders in this game, is they've conceded more penalties. So, yeah. Warriors are back on, and this game is also back on. You've seen one monster truck breaker suspension. You've seen it all. Yeah, I figure my son will enjoy it. He likes monster trucks. 10-6 Warriors lead. There you go. Can the Landers make a comeback, Cameron? Well, they are under the pump from the kickoff, so I would say it's not looking likely from the first 28 seconds of the second half. Came just to like the stream. Cheers, man. Appreciate that. YouTube loves engagement, so that's a favor you've done me, and I appreciate it, sir. See the Warriors in Wellington. Brought it up on the other screen. You like Super Rugby now has their own graphics. Not a fan of TV network graphics. Oh, Mo'unga's just scored. This game's going to be a blowout. $4.4 at the moment. Distracted owes me. Nice. If the Warriors win, that is. The Warriors have got a habit of kind of throwing leads away. Goodness me. Mo'unga's pretty good at Super Rugby, isn't he? Harvey with the dink through. And then it looks like maybe he's going to go dead, but no, he still finds a way to bring it to the ground. Jezza, mate, how's it going? Monster trucks in Spain are different. Not a lot of... What's H&S? Old man Willie Boy's off. The missus is screaming from the shower. You brekkie better be ready. Alright, good luck, man. Good luck. Go make some brekkie. It is 31-3. The Highlanders are staring down the barrel of another 40-point loss. Oh, health and safety. Ah, of course. The New Zealanders need 5 Super Rugby teams if the Highlanders are this bad. Yeah, maybe that's a question that needs to be asked if they keep getting smashed by 40 points. Load shedding in Cape Town right now. Oh man, Shogun, that's a unfortunate one. I've heard about the load shedding. Thoughts on Rugby Australia's shelved plans to integrate with Japan's League One with Super Rugby and Ohana Capcom? I just saw about today. I haven't even seen that news, man. Have they officially shelved it, have they? Do I have to watch this game for the pod? Bro, no. The Highlanders get hammered again. I don't think you need to go back and watch this one. Jack put a 20 on the 20-fold accumulator. Geez, so 20 results are going to go your way. £5. But the way you pick Super, bro, I'll back you to get it. It returns 2,500 quid. Goodness gracious me, that'd be nice. 20 games, you just need no upsets. If the New Zealand rugby reduces by one team, which team will the Aussies beat then? Oh, shots fired. Oh, Blake, man. Blake has said, I'm expecting a full-on blowout for the rest of the game. Now, I don't know how to put more text. Why does the text always cut off? I'm sorry about your text being cut off, but I can see it here. Yeah, it's looking pretty messy, isn't it? It's looking very messy, but cheers for that, man. Beers on you this time. Thank you, buddy. Cold beer is good because it's muggy as heck, and the Highlanders' chance to maybe get something going has just been kind of averted anyway. Speaking of bets, what are the odds of Leinster having a perfect season? Surely they got to drop a game somewhere, Jezza. Surely. They can't just win all the games, can they? Do the island nations need two teams, especially Moana Pacifica, when there's no Adelaide team? There's more people in Adelaide than the islands. The problem with Adelaide is I don't think it's a real rugby town at all. I got a mate that lives in Adelaide, a Kiwi guy, really into his rugby, and he says nobody there follows it. They follow AFL, so it's a bit like Melbourne, but just smaller than Melbourne. But yeah. Well, the Moana Pacific guys are based in Auckland. You could argue Auckland doesn't need two Super Rugby teams, but Auckland's Pacific population is massive. People always go on and on about how many Pacific faces there are in the All Blacks. Well, most of the guys are born in New Zealand, man. Auckland's a very multicultural city. But yeah, there's also the counter argument with Moana Pacifica that too many of the guys who play for that team are New Zealanders. Like, they're not getting guys from Samoa and Tonga to get an opportunity to play. But then again, if they're not up to the level, then it doesn't make sense to play them. So it's all a rich tapestry, I guess. You think so, but they can't drop any games in Europe or they'll be out there. Speaking of Leinster, yeah, maybe in the URC. Don't know. But then who's going to beat them in the URC, man, eh? What's your New Zealand Premier team like, for example, North Harbour or Canterbury? Mine is Auckland. That's my team. Tony is a North Harbour man. The Knights scored in the game against the Warriors. That's to be expected. The Warriors tend to throw away games they lead, right? People don't realise New Zealand's a Pacific island. Yeah, I don't quite get that. Like, I literally in one video, I think, showed like my school photo from like intermediate, and it was like, look, names of all different ethnic backgrounds. How come Perth, Australia has a team even though they love AFL? I think there's a lot of expat Kiwis and South Africans in Perth, is my understanding. And there's a decent rugby, like hardcore following in Perth compared to some of the other places. Plus, Perth is a big city. Yeah, Perth is pretty big, isn't it? Freddie Burns' kick was massive. A little bit too big. they're cross kicking in their own 22, so they got to do something. Oh, they've just turned the ball over in their own 22. Blackadder. He's brought down. Here come the Crusaders again. Oh, Havili goes over. Jeez, this is going to get messy, folks. This is going to get messy. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put that there. They haven't kicked the conversion yet, but it's going to come. Bloody hell. Have you ever played Rugby 08? Me and my Aussie mate Gary played a stupid amount of Rugby 08 back when we both lived in Wuhan together. We customized and updated our own Wallabies and All Blacks teams. We gave them our own ratings on like strength and power and speed and everything. Like we played a ton of that game. Oh my god, I played a lot of that game. I've maybe played that game more than I've played any other game. Is that possible? Probably not. I probably played something else in my childhood more, but I played that game a lot. Not against Moana Pacific. I feel like I'm clear. There's nothing wrong with island teams. It just seems they're missing a big market. Yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect between Moana Pacifica and the islands compared to the Drua, who's like directly based in Fiji, and all the guys are pretty much Fijian. Moana Pacific is made up of a lot of Kiwi guys with Pacific backgrounds, which maybe doesn't quite fit the billing of developing island rugby, but it does get guys who are eligible for Tonga and Samoa, especially, to play Super Rugby who might have otherwise missed out on a contract. So Tonga and Samoa should improve, although it's on the back of New Zealand-born guys, which is maybe, again, like ultimately not quite what the pure purpose is, right? So, yeah, that's something that they, I think, need to look at. I don't know how they fix it. I miss the South African teams in Super Rugby. You and me both. It was just something different about it. What can I say? Things virgins say. I customized my own Rugby 08 team. What can I say? I was in my mid to late 20s by that point. Perhaps it's a money thing. Who wants to invest when there's not a community support? Well, interestingly, there's a guy who used to comment on this channel a lot, who said in a couple of videos that like the club game, he was based in Samoa. He said the club game in Samoa was just in a really, really bad way and at a really, really terrible level. So to expect guys to go from that game to playing Super Rugby was kind of like too much. So yeah, it's all about the grassroots again, isn't it? How do you fix it? There's a few Drua players born in New Zealand. Adam, that's probably a good point. Although I think the majority would be born in Fiji. Whereas compared to, I think the Moana Pacifica side has like one guy who would like learned his rugby in the islands. Like, was it one Tongan guy? Still 30 minutes left and it's 38-3. Yeah. Ominous, isn't it? Bloody hell. How about make a Super Rugby team in Hawaii? I know it won't happen, but imagine American Samoa, Cameron. I know they were going to make an MLR team in Hawaii, but it never quite got off the ground. Don't miss the South African teams. We used to beat them too. Yeah. the Lions had a pretty good team for a few years. Stormers did. Then there was a couple of years when they were pretty bad, right? Like when they had the Kings in, when they had just too many Super Rugby teams and guys were starting to play abroad. There was a couple of years where the South African teams didn't really cut the mustard. Like when they had the conferences. And was it the Stormers who like didn't play any New Zealand teams in the regular season and then played the Chiefs and got a frickin' hiding? It made the format look like a bit of a joke. The people who operate the Hawaiian team were based in Auckland and making up nonsense and claim they had stadiums when local politicians didn't know about it. Okay, that's that's something enlightening. Cheers, Simon. Simon's a fountain of rugby knowledge. Really knows his stuff. Novmum, how's it going? How you feeling? I'm assuming just getting along. Have you been watching Super Rugby Americas? No, Adam, I haven't, sadly. I don't actually even know how you watch it. Warriors score a screamer. Well, at least that game seems to be close, Tony, because 38-3, this game is not much of a contest. I did watch one game of the MLR, and it was all right. I feel like it suffered a little bit of early season rust. Don't follow sevens, but New Zealand teams have been almost untouchable in the series. That's good news, but yeah, totally flies above my head. Three likes away from 50. Anybody? Drop a like. If the Warriors win, Tony's going to give me $5. There's a great game flick over 14-12 Warriors up. I can't do it. Despite the fact that this game is no contest, I can't do it. Good thanks. Had my hair cut short. Like really short yesterday. And that'll be something a bit different. Gets dry faster when it's short. I keep my hair short for that reason, but I'm a dude, so that's a bit different. I've seen news about Cardiff might not being able to afford coaching staff and players to compete. I have seen a few of the teams. Was it Scarlets or somebody? Was it Ospreys looking to operate with only like 30-something players instead of like 40, whatever they had this year? Oh, the Highlanders are at 6s and 7s, man. Freddie Burns didn't know what to do there. We're going to have a scrum. Alternate $5 if the Warriors lose. Hey, I get $5 either way. It's another beer, folks. Honestly, we'll lose all our midfielders. Yeah, what's going on with Havili? Super Rugby America's only on the ESPN South America. I think once the American Raptors have their home games, it's meant to be on their website. Okay. Oh no, there's a TMO call. The Highlanders are about to go down a player. I did the flick my hair of my head this morning after the shower to dry autopilot. Muscle memory, eh? Don't even know you're doing it. Oh. Oh. Is that it? Penalty? Penalty. Yeah, it's a penalty. At least a penalty. Yellow card, yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Just what the Highlanders needed. You're down by 35 points and now you got one player less. He did get carded. Puddy Parkinson, who's gone grey in the off-season. All the stress of those injuries. The back angle looked worse than the front one, but I think either penalty or yellow, nothing else. Novmum, once when I was in China, I washed my hair in the morning, went out in freezing winter, like it was much colder than it gets in Auckland anyway. My hair was still wet. And as I went to run my hand through my hair like I did as a 21-year-old, I realized, oh shit, you're ruining the gel because it was hard. My hair was hard, but then I thought I didn't put fucking gel in my hair this morning, but my hair had just kind of frozen. Yeah, the wet hair had kind of gone icy. So that was my hair story. Crusaders just scored just straight away, by the way. More try. Jody Taylor. So yeah, they're 40 points up, literally 40 points ahead. No try for the Warriors game. Fair enough. How much fun is this game? Well, it's a hiding. So how much is it going to be by is the only question. Let's see. Is he going to get the conversion? 40, whoops, not 44. Go Archie. 45, 43, 45, 43, 45. Not much fun if you're a Highlander fan. There you go. I was going to go to a Chiefs home game next weekend, be like, what now? Yeah, just do whatever you feel comfortable with, eh? I'm not sure what's going on with Scott. They've just mentioned it again in the commentary that he's not travelled to Melbourne, but they haven't really said what's going on. But if it's a family thing, I guess it's none of our business. So one try conceded in the yellow. Still 7 minutes to go. 7.5. How is Whitelock still so damn fit? He is a professional athlete with a high work rate. Jesus, hiding. It's not a good look. Oh, I want to go look and see what I picked. Man, this is going to go check the Warriors game. What did I pick for this one? I picked Crusaders by... I said by 30. I said Crusaders by 30. So I was already at the kind of top end of the picks. There's still 3 people in the Super Rugby pool who've got a chance with the margin. The biggest pick was by 42. And with still 20 minutes to go, I don't think that fellow's going to get it either. But yeah, I said by 30. So did Blake. Yeah, man. I thought 30, that's reasonable. $5 won't get you much with the inflation. Jezza, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. The only thing I managed to get kind of cheap was the plane tickets back to China. That's the only thing I got, which is like, wow, that's less than I thought it was going to be. It was like $4,000 return for 4 people, which is bonkers because my parents are paying $2,500 to go to Australia the same month. So yeah, 4,000 New Zealand dollars as well. That's a clown currency. It'll get you a cheese roll. $5 will still get you a cheese roll, that's for sure. I picked by 12. Alaram, man. I would give you shit, but we're both equally wrong. 10 in the bin for repeated infringements for a Knights, but I didn't think they did that in League. I thought they were really loath to give cards, kind of thing. $500 per person one way. Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. I haven't travelled anywhere. I don't know. I've hardly even been outside Auckland in the last few years, so yeah, it's gonna be weird. Which airline? One of the Chinese airlines, China Southern. So I'm not expecting 5-star service, but I don't really care. I can't sleep on the plane anyway, so just kind of chill. First class? No, it's cattle class. Oh, Eno's knocked that on, surely. Yeah, jeez. We haven't got a hat trick yet. Nah, no one has managed a hat trick. Yeah, we travelled once a few years ago, Junaid, and the country got locked down. And then we did resume that trip once the country opened up again. So Queenstown is as far as I've been in the last, 3 years. No Taiwan stopover, Taiwan cricket. Nah, sadly not. Though that was the airline doing a bunch of discounts early on. But then once China did the no quarantine thing, those flights became a lot cheaper. Did you know, Taiwan cricket, though, that there's a bunch of islands right next to mainland China which belong to the Taiwan China? Called Kinmen. You can see mainland China from there. And it's miles from the island of Taiwan. I never knew. I only found out about them recently. I want to go visit there. That'd be awesome. You've been there. Holy shit. What was it like? Queenstown strippers go hard. I can honestly say, George, I was not there for the strippers. I went with my wife. Which new country would I most like to visit, Jake? Oh, man. I mean, it'd probably be somewhere in Europe, eh? That's where my ancestors are from, so it'd be nice to go and see some of that. We didn't get bombed, but we saw the tunnels they hid in when they were being shelled. Man, crazy. I really want to go. I reckon that'd be cool to visit. If I went with Tony, it might have been a different story. That's true, Junaid, mate. Crusaders by 30, Petrus. That's what I picked. And it's too conservative. 50 plus is looking possible. Surprised how poos the Highlanders are. Yeah. Heading to Oz in August. Would like a stop in New Zealand, but unlikely. New Zealand is really kind of at the arse end of the world. South Island is bloody beautiful. If you haven't been, you should put it on your list of places to go. Milford Sound is pretty incredible. North Sentinel Island. That's the one with those tribal people on it, eh? That haven't had any contact with the developed world, and you're banned from going there because you're going to give them smallpox or something. Should come to Essex in England. It's world famous for its lovely culture. Okay, I'll put it on my list. Essex. The natives will kill you. Yeah, I think I've heard about that one. I've been to New Zealand 3 times a year. Never been to the South Island, Daramundi, honestly. I'm from Auckland, and Aucklanders are notorious for kind of being up their own backsides and not giving a toss about the rest of the country. And I also went to Beijing before I went to Wellington or the South Island at all. But Crusaders almost scored there, but not quite. South Island's great. South Island's awesome. If you're a tourist, I would be surprised if you had a better time in the North Island than the South Island. Just saying. Drew got these fellas next week. Yeah, the Crusaders game against the Drew should be pretty big. I pick up my wig on Monday, being told my hair will probably fall out about 2 weeks after you start chemo. Yeah, that's one thing that Gaza never really had, because Gaza shaved his head prior to getting leukemia, so Gaza never had to deal with the hair falling out thing. Pick something cool. Pick something a bit out there if you can. My niece is working in Christchurch for 2 years. Hope to visit. That'd be awesome, Charlotte, if you can. Honestly, the South Island is just really, really nice. It's really beautiful. Yeah. What can I say? It's just awesome. I'm an Aucklander in the South Island as a mustard. Mantis, there you go. Mantis knows where it's at. Like, if you were going to live somewhere and probably find a job, that's why you're going to go to the North Island. But if you're on holiday, South Island. Last holiday I had was Poland. Goodness gracious me, Jesse, that's a bit left field. How was Poland? How was the exchange rate? Oh, euros in Poland? Show my ignorance here. Euros in Poland. They're not cheap, but I get a subsidy on. I'm getting a short for like 250. 520? Holy crap, that's expensive. Oh my goodness. That's expensive. No, Poland has its own currency. Okay. I'm ignorant. Ignorant. Oh, yeah, April too. I'll bring my kids. They can play in your paddock. That's for sure. If I'm bringing the kids, I'm going to April's place. They can just run, run around in the fields. Germany's on the bucket list. That's where your ancestors left the States for. Yeah, same with me with Wales and other spots in the UK, man. And Ireland. Crusaders Maul is at it again. They haven't scored for a while. Yellow card for the Highlanders has been over for a while as we talk all kinds of other stuff because this game's dead and buried, but Scotty Barrett can't get over the advantage line. He takes an extra roll. Christie can't get forward. Are they going to bring up 50? Bauer. He's held up. Now he's got a knee to the ground. Let him go. Oh, man. Highlanders' defense is, I was going to say, pretty brutal, and then Fainganuku scored. So it was brutal, and then it wasn't. I'm just going to put that down there. $408 subsidy. Okay, well, at least that makes it more reasonable. You'd be welcome, Mark, and the kids would love it. Yeah, a few people have actually offered me accommodation if I was to travel around, so I'll have to take people up on that sometimes because that's one of the big costs, isn't it? Hey Les, does anyone know if Anton Signet is going to play for the Blues next match? Oh, Hans, I'm not actually sure, mate. What did the Blues put on their post? Doesn't look like he's on the list. It's Tucker and Choate as the kind of forward replacements who aren't front rowers. Robinson, Papali, and Sotutu. So it doesn't look like it. There's some real nice bridges in Taipei you can sleep under. You're a gentleman. What can I say, Grant? When the All Blacks go north during the Autumn Internationals, is there a package you can buy? Yes, there's a company called, I want to say All Blacks Tours, who you can go through and they give you the whole package, and you usually travel with some kind of former All Black who does the whole emceeing on the bus, and takes you to dinners and stuff and regales you with stories of the All Blacks past. Close game. 52-3. This game's been dead and buried for a long time. Still 10 minutes to go. Goodness me. Who's your AB6 at the moment? That's a good question. I don't think we have one that's obvious. There's a lot of guys have just gone through my head, but there's not one that I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. When's the 2CGD World Cup tour? Once my kids grow up a bit more, I can save some money maybe. I imagine the travel package wouldn't be cheap. I haven't even inquired, Jezza. I'm assuming it's probably for... I'm assuming it's for people of a different social strata. Blackadder was one of the guys, Jacob, that I was thinking of. Blackadder's main weakness is he doesn't have that much go forward. He's alright, but he's not a super dynamic six. But geez, he's got work rate for days. He's good at the line out and everything. I don't like Barrett that much. If I was going to pick Blackadder or Barrett, it'd be Blackadder. Frizzell's another one, but I mean, for a guy who's supposed to be a big dynamic ball carrier, he's not that great. Sometimes goes a bit missing. Akita sometimes is known to go a wee bit missing, yeah. World Cup Tour 2027 or Lions Tour 2025. Yeah, that might be alright. I got family in Australia. I can mooch off, or at least stay with. Did the Highlanders just score a try? No. Has Josh Timu just scored a try? I don't believe it. On a previous stream, I mentioned that I used to watch those Irish guys. The channel is Overlap Rugby. They have 2,500 subscribers and seemingly haven't posted in 9 months. That's the two brothers. I think I have seen their stuff. All their videos were freaking huge was the main reason I tended to not watch. Because like every video was like an hour or 2 hours. I didn't have that much time. Oh, good try. Fakatava with the kick. Last try wins, folks, please. They got one, finally. Definitely monster podcast, right? 10-14, yeah. Those guys do rugby analytics or something now. Not just rugby, sports analytics. Oh, he's missed the conversion. So it's 8 points, which is a little bit, but still not double figures. Weirdly, the 10-14 also used to post really long stuff, but I was able to kind of watch it. I don't know how it works. Can they outscore the Blues? Do you look at just the pure score? Like the Blues got 60, but then they also conceded 20. So the Crusaders have so far scored less, but also conceded less. TCGD could do a year-long tour with the amount of people they could use for free accommodation. I'm sure people would have me up for accommodation. I'm not sure if they would let Tony in. Would they? You wouldn't let Tony in your house, would you? Five and a half minutes to go. Crusaders is just cruising at this point, hey? One more like and distract us. What's with no day? Yeah, true. 66 viewers. If any of you guys haven't liked the stream, please do us a favor and give it a like. Get it up to 60. Tony in the shed. That's right, Joseph. Yeah. Tony can sleep in the shed. Less than 5 minutes to go. Crusaders have knocked it on. This game's just kind of petering out. I would have Tony no problem, but Liam has homebrew going on, then I probably would regret it. You're probably right. Will this be a franchise record for the Highlanders? Yeah, I think so. They said something about this is the most points scored or something like that. So, yeah, it's not one the Highlanders will be looking back on fondly. Does 10-14 lads still wear a hat on Sky? Joseph, they haven't made Sky content since prior to the 2019 World Cup. Those guys now run a kind of sports analytics company like Opta. You know how they do stats and I think they use AI to like measure performance about athletes. They're the kind of people that if you had a rugby team, a professional team, you would employ them to help you coach the players. Like that's what they do, motion capture and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, they don't do the rugby kind of punditry anymore, sadly. Should rugby have a mercy rule? You see that sometimes in club rugby. Me and Gaza went to a game years ago, Waitakere, which is my son's club, against his team, my dad's team, College Rifles, and it was like fucking 80-3 or 80-10 or 80-5 or something. And there was still about 10 minutes to go and the referee just went, nah. After the College Rifles guys scored like their 80th point or whatever, he was like, right, full time. I did the maths. Highlanders have been outscored 112-28 in these first two rounds. That's pretty nasty. Oh, and they've just lost their lineup, but the Crusaders knocked it on. I'd love to do rugby stats as a living dream, Joel. How old is my son? He's 7. So he's still young. He's still young. Snap, I had a chance to play against College Rifles when they came to Canada. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's my dad's team. My dad's had a few different teams. He used to go with I think Grammar Carlton, but the people were a bit snobby. And then he used to go with another team, I think more locally to where we lived, but then they got a bit rough. So he switched to College Rifles. But now he doesn't go to the games anymore because he's getting old. He's getting on, and he just doesn't want to get cold, basically. Here we go. Here we go. Last 2 tries for the Highlanders. Good on you, Highlanders. Double points. Last try wins again, and it's the Highlanders. Goodness me. My son isn't actually that tall. Yeah, he's just kind of average height. Maybe even slightly shorter. I don't know. His class is a mix full of year 3 and year 4 kids. A lot of year 4 kids kind of make him look a bit smaller. But yeah, he's not real tall. Do you have a team you prefer or kind of support in the URC Premiership and MLR, Jake? Well, I'm kind of torn because the first guy to ever send me any Northern Hemisphere jersey was this guy Mark, who sent me a Leinster jersey. So I was kind of committed to Leinster. But then Leinster won so much that I'm kind of like getting Crusaders vibes from Leinster. So something about me likes to support underdogs more, so I kind of get a bit torn. I know that doesn't really answer the question, but yeah, no, I don't really have a kind of clear favourite. You know what? They may have been badly beaten, but you can respect the Highlanders' tenacity. Oh, good on them for keeping playing. They legit could have got beaten by 60, 70 points, but the Crusaders eased off a bit, and the Highlanders have played all right. So, yeah, there you go. I really like Scotland and Italy. That's something I'd never have said with a gun to my head. There you go. Scotland is a fun team to watch. Munster are the Blues. Yeah, former glorious side, which has kind of fallen on harder times, but now in a bit of a resurgent period, eh? Hope your son gets a growth spurt. I always wanted to be taller than my dad. Far out. I hope my son doesn't get taller than me. 6'4" is tall enough. 37 points. How does that affect Super Brew? Not close enough for me to get any margin point out of it because I said by 30. My dad is already here. Oh, not quite. With a he started sending me a message, but it was only 2 seconds long. I'll see what my dad's got to say, and then I guess we'll kind of call it quits, folks. But yeah, it's been a game, man. The Crusaders gave them a bloody hiding, didn't they? 66 likes. Cheers for that, folks. We got there. You're the first 6'4" person I've ever heard complain about it. Literally today, a little old lady asked me for help in the supermarket to get the packet of chicken mix from the top shelf. So yeah, sometimes it's nice being tall, but buying pants and shoes and stuff can kind of suck. So there you go. My dad sent a 2-second message. I'm assuming he took his finger off the button. Here we go. 60 seconds from my dad.
Well, McMurray, the Crusaders won easy enough. And, I said I wasn't going to comment on the refs. Well, I'm going to stick to that.
But
your guys can tell me next week what they think. To be honest, the ref confused me a bit in the second half. And that's one thing I've got to say. When you got a swarm of All Blacks and the Crusaders.
Was he talking about the refs or no?
Wondering what the refs done, where you can read between the lines. And I said I wasn't going to comment. I've probably said too much already. But, impressive? Well, not. We'll leave it at that, and then we'll start getting into them next week. Okie dokie, fellas. That'll give you a clue where I am. I gave you a few hints. So where we are, the Crusaders have got a few injuries and so have the Highlanders, but, the Crusaders have got a lot of depth, so it'll be interesting to see where they go. Yeah, well, you know, the Highlanders are probably going to beat a few, or maybe 2 or 3 Aussie sides. I don't know about New Zealand, but they'll probably beat 2 or 3 Aussie sides. They looks like a continuation of last year. And the Crusaders, well, we always knew they were going to bounce back. And we know they've got a lot of depth, so they're going to be dangerous to whoever they play. So, you know, the Chiefs and the Blues just have to make sure that when they play the Crusaders, they play their own game and don't get sucked into the Crusaders game, because that's where they'll come undone. And that's exactly what happened last year. The Hurricanes, well, we'll see where the Hurricanes go. They'll probably beat the Rebels. I don't know by how much, but I'm pretty confident they could get a bonus point.
Oh, he's got another minute. I just switched it over to the Warriors game for Tony. It's 20 points to 12. The Warriors are in front. And there's a much better crowd at that game, but they have got part of the stadium closed off.
If they play to their strengths. Now, you know, all you guys know that I'm not a Jason Holland fan, and I have some pretty good reasons for that. But, you know, he's not a bad coach. He's got a good team with him. And Scott Robinson rates himself. Scott Robinson and Leon McDonald, you know, Scott Robinson gets the job.
5 minutes left,
you expect Leon McDonald and Jason Holland to be on a sticker. So that's about that. Jason Holland, well, he's got a pretty good team there, so, you know, they'll definitely make the quarters and maybe even the semis. But we'll see how many injuries they get. This is going to be the key to a lot of seasons. It looks like the poor bloody Highlanders have got a few already. So even though the Crusaders have some and the Blues have some and everyone, Chiefs got some. So last but not least, yeah, Nick Berry confused me. Impressed not. It's read between the lines. I won't give him a score because I promised everybody in the Mark Rugby channel team subscription that I'd keep my word, and I pretty well have, even though I've given you a few hints because it's the second week. I'm giving you a few clues I think's fair and honest. So we're just going to have to see how the rest of the games play out, but I think the New Zealand teams all went over there this weekend, except for the Highlanders, of course, because they played the Crusaders. And I think the Brumbies are the best of the Aussie sides. They won't beat the Blues, but it could be, you know, I don't think the Blues will give them a hiding like they did the Highlanders. So that's about that. Anyway, keep supporting Mark. And Gazamania's up to bed. Gazamania.
All right, Gaza. Yeah, you go to bed. I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers for that. And yeah, you can tell me what you really thought of the refs when we catch up tomorrow morning. All right, I'll catch you then. Bye. Yeah, fine. He's hilarious, isn't he? Like, Sinead asks, why is he not talking about the refs? He himself put his, he decided to kind of censor himself that for the first couple of rounds he wasn't going to talk about the refs. I think kind of because I was like, maybe I mentioned it, like you always talk about the refs. So he decided, maybe he took that as a bit of feedback that he wasn't going to talk about the refs. But him talking about the refs is hilarious. And I love it that when he doesn't talk about the refs, he still spends so much time talking about the refs. Yeah. But, yeah, this is why we live and breathe Gazamania. I need to get him on to do some videos, eh? They've got this bad habit, though, recently, because they usually come over on a Friday. There's 3 minutes left in the Warriors game, by the way. He usually comes over on a Friday, and then they'll usually hang out before we go and get my kids, pick them up from school, but they've recently been going to see one of their friends who also lives out this way, so they've been coming by really late. So I don't really have time to do a video on them, but yeah. It wasn't me, Sinead. He himself decided to put it on him, but maybe it was indirectly me. I don't think I'm going to watch the Canes game, but I'm going to probably, I don't know, get ready for bed shortly. What can I say? I got monster trucks tomorrow. We all live for the out of 10, out of 20 Gaza ratings. I know. I know. Captain's Challenge? What the hell, League? Why do you have Captain's Challenges? Captain's Challenges suck. Yeah, the Canes are playing the Rebels next. Captain's Challenge is just slow the bloody game down. Nick Berry was awful. Cheers, Alaran. Yeah, Nick Berry's certainly not Gaz's favourite ref. But I want to hear uncensored Gazza chat about refs. Yeah, he does go on about refs a lot. Yeah, a lot. It's like his favourite topic. I don't get it. But cheers, Mantis, man. The Warriors are winning. The Warriors are winning. Appreciate that, mate. But it's over 70. Great part of the game is the old challenging the captain. Challenging captain. I don't know. How long have they had Captain's Challenge in League? I hated it when it was trialled in rugby. I thought it was stupid because virtually, it was never really applied for the reason that was supposed to be there, which was to stop those howlers. It was virtually always used at the end of the game as a kind of Hail Mary play. If they were losing and they wanted to get some bloody turnover overturned or something. So, yeah. Nah, I'm not a fan of the Captain's Challenges, personally. It looks like the Warriors are going to win, Tony. What's going on? Maybe they should play more games in Wellington. Sorry, Kings, mate. I'll watch a Canes game at some point. But probably not this one. Yeah. It's only a recent thing. I don't see the point of them. Yeah, they drive me up the wall. I get it more with other sports like cricket and whatnot, where the captain can say that he hasn't seen it. Made a few memes from last week. How is the Discord? I don't know. I haven't logged into the Discord for so long. Are people still on there? Because some other guy reckons he's made a Discord as well that I could use. So I don't know. Not good enough. I know, Kings, mate. We'll get there. I'll get ChatGPT to do what someone suggested earlier about writing Stalia about writing a Kane story. $40 seconds to go. I'm not even listening to it. I'm just watching it. There's Formula One starting this weekend as well. I'm going to watch some of that, I think, with my son. My daughter too, if she wants to. My son's decided that he wants to follow Ferrari and Williams. I think he's got more luck with Ferrari, to be honest. See you, April Tui. Yeah, I've been hanging about a bit longer than I normally would have because of Tony's bloody league game. There's 10 seconds to go, but yeah, take care. Distracted Sports, $7 dues. Let's go Warriors. Spelling mistake, intentional marker. You wear that classic Warriors call. Was that a sign that someone put up at a game? Let's go on Warriors. I feel like I've seen that. That's kind of like a blow on the pie thing, isn't it? Your dad cracks me up. He tries so hard not to mention the ref that he just ends up talking about the ref half the time, eh? Anyway. I'm right. So happy. Well, good job, Warriors. Good job, Crusaders. Highlanders, you got the last couple of tries, but you still got beaten 52 points to 15. So, yeah. Are you and Tony going to do any of the State of Origins this stream? I did State of Origin last year by myself, which was horrendous. So doing one with Tony would probably make more sense, seeing as he would actually know some of the players. We could do Origin. We could do some UFC. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But yeah. All right, folks. I am gonna head off. Cheers, Tony. $7. Man of your word, like the chat said. Blake as well. And Mantis too. You guys are champions. So, yeah. You guys will take care of yourselves. And if you're at the Monster Trucks tomorrow and see me there with my boy, come say hello. Hopefully it doesn't suck. The reviews have been really bad. But, yeah. You guys will take care of yourselves. Catch you next time. Bye.